Hello and welcome to A Town Called Bastard. This is him, Neill, and we are playing Crusader Kings II, attempting to restore the Karlings to a throne in Western Europe. I am currently playing Duke Eudes of Berry, who succeeded from his father just recently, Duke Herbert the Whisperer, who died today, actually, this morning. So my current situation is that I'm basically trying to die, really. I want my mother to die first, and then I want to die in quick succession, so that I can start playing as my son, Duke Herbert of Anjou. Because that will combine the Berry here and Anjou there, and will make me even more powerful, which is what I'm trying to go for. And the legacy my dear departed, murderous, vile, scheming father left me. And I still have the king in my prison from where he was imprisoned. Amusingly, I'd have thought that I'd automatically become his regent by having him imprisoned, but the Duke of Champagne is now his regent. A noble man, this one. Strong, humble, temperate, patient, diligent, brave. Oh well. So is there anything interesting I should do? Well, I apparently want to become a steward. Don't think there's much chance that I'm going to become a steward. Who's the current steward? Who is the current steward? Steward is a chancellor, a marshal. If I find the current steward and they're less capable than I might be able to take it, but I'm slightly sceptical they're going to grant it. He's going to grant it to me. Especially given that I've imprisoned him. What focus should I take then? I think I'm just going to cancel the stewardship. Unless I take, maybe if I take rulership, he might be inclined to grant it to me. But I'm not going to gain much land at this rate, so I don't really need the extra stewardship. Especially because the centralisation means I can hold 4 more provinces without any penalty, and I'm not going to gain that anytime soon. I might just go back to being a filthy, vile schemer and trying to murder my way through the wives, the husbands of the Duchess of Aquitaine, until hopefully might pass to me. Well. Don't have much chance of getting it. Patient, diligent, and honest. Honest, that's not very helpful. Although if I go master scheme, I might get deceitful, which will flip it. So let's, or I might die. That might also be useful. Nope, I'll go with stewardship just for the sake of it, to see a different chain of events. And there's anything else? Well, my titles will split in succession for my sons. I can probably live with that. Annoying, but I can indeed live with it. I might, if I live long enough, I'll try to change to elective succession. However, I don't think I will last that long, but I'll give it a shot. Apparently my city's taxes are low or medium and have been some time. I'm going to up that. Nothing's happening technology, so I'll leave that for another time. Any plots I can do? No. Well, it's vaguely tempting to plot to kill my wife, although if I'm lucky she might give me syphilis, reduce my health. Health and fertility are hidden stats in the game. You can't see them, but they are there. The average character has, I think, 0.4, 0.5 fertility, so a 40% chance of fertility, and 5 health. Maximum's 10. Maximum and fertility, it adds together, I think, the 2 parties involved. So if I have 0.4 and my wife has 0.4, that means we have an 80% chance of conceiving under certain sort of ticks, I think, is the way it works. So lustful people have a lot higher chance, and people with syphilis have an even lower chance. So hopefully my sons will, well, I'm surprised I've had this many, really, given that my wife is syphilitic. but, well, we'll see what happens. Syphilis I don't think actually was about at this point in the Middle Ages. I don't think it was. I could be wrong. So yes, so I actually have a vague chance of becoming a steward, given that I have now 15 stewardship. Again, not much I can do with it. Well, I'll continue this war with Macon. With Tuscany. I might actually start winning it very soon, because they're just running out of land. And obviously I've been holding Burgundy for a long enough time that war score's ticking up quite a bit. Next time I win a siege, I'll try to remember not to click through the gump that pops up. It explains how much gold we've won, how much prestige the battle leaders have won for looting the place, and also any casualties. Because in addition, the way a siege works is that this morale bar has to get down to 0, at which point the besiegers win, and it goes down by a certain percentage based on the relative size of the armies and the fort levels and so on, as you can see, and technology, as you can see there. But troops also die periodically, either from attrition or from random events whereby you get harassed or attacked by besiegers and stuff like that. And I am going to be appointed to be the steward. I really like my king, apparently. Long reign. He's cool. I might try to ransom him. He doesn't have any money, so I'm not going to ransom him. I'll just if I release him, will he like me? Well, he might like me. Bit risky. I'm just going to keep him in prison there. There's no reason to rock the boat. So I'm now a steward, which is good, what I wanted. And now seems to become exalted, which might take me a while, but the other thing that I could do is the ambitions are unlocked based on various conditions, and if you have too much piety, which I apparently have, one might be due to my traits, you can't aim to become pious. And again, if I had too much prestige, I couldn't aim to become exalted because I had too much already. And some of the thing is that if I have not very much money, I could aim to get 500 gold. But I'd have to spend quite a lot of it in order to get down to that point, so I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to try to become exalted. The aim to become king ambition is a special one. Once you've set it, you can never set another ambition until you become king. You can only aim to become king of the area your de jure kingship would be. So I'm residing within France, so I could only aim to be the king of France. If I became a king of another place, I think the ambition just disappears without being fulfilled. I can't remember. And more importantly, for pagans have certain casus belli they can use against other pagans within the de jure kingdom that they're trying to become a king of. So you'll often see at the earlier start dates that all of the sort of Norwegian and Swedish jarls and petty kings up there will all aim to become kings of their respective areas, because it gives them wars, a reason to go to war against other people. Just having a look at Venice here. Venice obviously, well, in real life isn't so far away from the coast. It's like this to represent how hard it was to attack without boats. Ooh, gold, lovely. Venice is actually at war with Croatia in the War of the Coastal Split. As you can see, these little symbols here, well, the larger symbol represents that this is the land owned by the duchy. These smaller symbols represent that a single holding here is owned by the Serene Republic of Venice. You can see that holding there. Republics have a special casus belli to go to war for just the city provinces. And the reason they do that is, aside from the fact that it gives them gold, they have these other things, these trade posts, which you can see here, and they get them more gold still. And it's cheaper to place trade posts when you have land nearby. So if you capture the city, it'll be easy to get trade posts in the next province over and so on. As you can see, even though there are counts around here, like this one, only the direct vassals have shields. So the king has one because he's the top liege of the realm, and then each of the most immediate vassals get them as well. And, this son of mine is actually in my domain, so I'm going to educate him myself. Is there anyone I can usefully betroth grandson to? I might try to betroth. She'll say no. I was going to try to betroth my grandson to this girl with the expectation of never fulfilling it, just to try and stop him from marrying someone stupid when he comes of age. So, yeah, I always want to do. I'll have to see what I get. As you can see from this character, they have a habit of just marrying random lowborns. I don't mind it when they're not doing it for the pure Machiavellian political aims, but there's something slightly odd about, especially when you meet an AI character who refuses and refuses and refuses to accept your offer before finally marrying some lowborn peasant. Just wouldn't have happened, really. I try to do the same thing for myself, though. I try not to deliberately marry lowborns, or people who wouldn't make sense for my character to marry, unless my character is in some way in love with them, or actually that's basically it. So unless they have sort of no nobility or my character's been affected for it, I don't go for them. I could try to marry for stats, especially congenital traits, the inheritable ones. You can do very selective eugenics and breeding. I try not to do that just because I don't see this as a game that you really need to strive to win at. It's not terribly difficult once you get past the basic concepts of it. And I'm ignoring many avenues for advancement. Because if you want, you can paint the whole world your colour, but I don't think that's not really where I find the fun of it, especially not having played it so long. So just trying to see what would plausibly a medieval ruler have done. I'm not going so far as the full role playing. I'm not playing to my traits, but I might do that at some point. But at least I'll try to make sure that plausibly a character could have done this, and that they wouldn't have, and that I'm acting vaguely within the spirit of a noble character. Admittedly, I'm assuming I'm sort of role-playing a somewhat cynical, ambitious character, regardless of what the traits I have are, and patient above all else. But so, wow, another child. Wow. Wow. Too many sons. I hope I can start marrying them off to someone. I'll marry him to Countess of Suffolk. That's good. Yes, you can be betrothed. You see, I don't like I can see the options there. There's a Swedish, a Greek, and a Castellan. I don't think there was much marriages between us and the Greeks, the Romans, because very different kind of government and everything. So I'm going to marry them to Castellan instead, Castellan Countess. Especially as, really, at least at this point in the Byzantine Empire, there wasn't the same kind of feudal system. So I don't like marrying myself through marriages to these people. You may have just seen, this is a strategos underneath Basilissa, who is married. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Right, well, the Basilissa has married the King of Novgorod, or the heir to the King of Novgorod, which might merge Novgorod and Byzantine Empire. It's remotely possible I might fudge that and edit it, because I find it very odd when the Byzantine Empire gets inherited by random other kingdoms, because that's not quite how it worked, in my opinion. I'm sure a historian could correct me. I don't think they would have allowed random foreigners to just come in and take the dynasty off them. But yes, back to what I was saying, this is a strategos of a ducal rank, and this is a du, also of a ducal rank. The difference is that du is very much a feudal ruler. He inherits and passes on his land. The strategos was introduced in the Charlemagne patch. They're called a vice-regal, vice-royal person. They, vice-royalty, as you can see there, they are decided by the top liege, the Basilissa, or Basilius normally, and on their death, the duchy will return to the emperor, and they can give it out either as a feudal title or as under vice-royalty. Vice-royalties are good because they mean you can have much more control over your vassals, you can keep the land. However, they have their own drawbacks, as their feudal rulers won't like you very much. I think there's a limit to the number of vice-royalties you can have. The Byzantine Empire has a special law called Imperial Administration, which causes his vassals to not like him so much. Yeah, why not? which means they can get viceroyal duchies right from the get-go, and then get a lot more of them, just to represent that at this point the Romans did function mainly on this themata system, it was called, where the land was split up in these themes of the regional governors and commanders, rather than the feudal system that most of the rest of this place has had. Of course, they're quite weak at this point anyway. It's because the Roman Empire does have this advantage right now. It does sometimes happen they will take room and the Anatolian lands back off them, especially if any kind of mess. So as you can see here, they're attacking Baylor Bay Saltuk the Lecher in the war for Trebizond. And who is Baylor Bay Saltuk the Lecher? Ah, so you see this province here is part of Trebizond. It's actually this Baylor Bay. In the Holy War of their own, and they can do it because they've got this other province neighbouring them. And as they are sunny, and the Sultan of Rum is sunny, they're lucky that the others aren't sort of banding together. But the other thing about Holy Wars is that normally in a war you can only call your allies, but in Holy Wars, other people of the same religion of you who are nearby can voluntarily opt to join you to save you from the heathens. Ooh, I might marry my daughter to the King of England. Now this would be a bit risky, as it means that his children will have a claim, but it might also no, I'm not going to do that. That's a bit too risky, because just in case England decides to attack France for it. I might marry her to the Duke of Burgundy. That's also very risky. He has much easier for him to try and take the claim. I'd hope you're too powerful by the time he would ever have an opportunity to use it, especially as I hope to kill the King of Burgundy, the Duke of Burgundy. But again, I don't wish their children to have claims, so I'll pick someone relatively safe. None of them can be useful alliances at this point though, so I'll go for the Duke of Calabria. Where's that? That's a weak state there, it's Calabria. I will go for the King of England, just in case it ever becomes useful to have that alliance. Also seems the kind of thing I'd do. I don't think I need to worry too much about them trying to press any claims inherit on France, as they have a lot fewer troops at this point, and they've been racked with other problems, and they keep fighting Scotland. So we should be safe for quite a few times. It'll be a couple of generations before they really start making use of it anyway. The Duchess of Arkane has accepted a barony. Good for her. As you see, France is encroaching in Spain now. And I've had a daughter, so as you can see, this is what I'm going to have a child. I can name them. Anne seems good enough to me. Yeah. The names, in addition to just being potentially inherited back from your family, they're based on culture. So all the different cultures have different names, as you might imagine. There's also, especially between cultures of similar languages, there's correspondences between similar names. So, I think about Karl and Charles, for instance, will be treated as the same name when it comes to. Oh, excellent! When it comes to the sort of I can't remember what the term is. When it comes to the number after a name, it's got a term, and I've completely forgotten it. So this is Karl the Great, for instance here. If there was to be a Charles now who was the ruler, he'd be called Charles II, because the reginal number. We might be able to see this if we look at some of the other kingdoms. Nope. So, and the similar things I think happened with, there's a Louis rather, and some other names. Oh, there's a trap. I might die. This might not be a problem. Someone is trying to kill me. This is not necessarily a problem. Not necessarily a problem. But I'm going to have to act quickly on this. I want to try and murder Prince of England. This old Nittling woman, man, is married to the Duchess of Anjou, Duchess of Aquitaine, and try and murder her as fast as possible, for him as fast as possible, so that he might still be alive, so that she might still be available as a potential wife for my son, so I can merge Aquitaine and Anjou and Berry, in fact. This little symbol you can see, the sort of hand, that means if I bribe them, they'll like me enough to join. See if we can get educated too. Generally it's a good idea to educate your most important heirs, especially your actual heirs, your sons. When you have lots of children, you can only educate 2 people yourself, and then you have to give them to other people to be educated, at which point the AI will decide what traits to give them and what things to do. When Matilda finally died, Duchess Matilda the Wise, wasn't a very wise thing. So here I can't educate myself. I've already got 2 children. Yeah, this mare will do. He's like a good sort, good egg. Doesn't like me, but oh well. She's my cousin. There's not really a benefit from marrying her to anyone. I don't gain any alliances too distantly related, but I'll probably do something later on, just to keep in the spirit with noble marry off these people. So this is what the siege victory window looks like. This is the cash I've won by looting. This is the party won by me because they're heathen scum, and these are the casualties suffered over the course of it. And you also have to leave some left there as a garrison, but it doesn't really matter because I'm forcing my demands. And I'm so glad I asked my mother to help, because she was in massive aid. And as this is what a Holy War looks like at the end. I've won this Holy War for Macon. And as it's a Holy War, I get all the holdings in the province. I think you don't get them if they're already a religion, but I can't remember. So I've got all of them. And they have a penalty on them. They have 2 penalties. The first is that it's under new administration, which means I conquered it. So for the next year, there's a minus tax penalty, and the levies will reinforce more slowly. As when these troops die, they reinforce over time. But in addition, because it's been recently conquered from a completely foreign power in terms of Holy War, there's another year where there's no levies whatsoever and there's no tax. So, I'm about to die just after proving that war. Or I'm not. I'm surviving quite well. I think I'm going to keep letting my spy master kill me, because of reasons already discussed. I don't need to do that. See, these are good examples of the options. If I was cruel, I could probably only do this option, letting him become cruel. I can switch him, which has a chance of removing cruel, or I can pray for him, which means I gain piety, but he's still probably cruel. I'm going to birch him, and he's no longer cruel. That's exactly how it works in real life. If you beat someone enough, they become nice. Not sure that's how it works. I'm just going to bribe these people. Try to encourage. In fact, I'm going to stop inviting them because the game is auto-inviting them. I'll bribe these people, and hopefully there'll be a plot that goes off so he dies before I do. Only a lot of money here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to spend quite a lot on this. Hopefully something goes off. As you can see, I'm away from my supply line, so I'm slowly losing troops on my way home. At a rate of quite a lot, 10% for being in the mountains. Oh, no. Nephew, that looks good. God, I'm still surviving well. No, there we go, I'm dead. Well, I am now the Duke of Anjou and Berry. Isn't that wonderful? So I've lost these other places. I've lost all of Macon, which I just won, to my half-brother. It's a pain. That is a pain. I'm going to try and put on a different crown law. going to have to try and take that land back at some point. You can swap between which title you want to be your primary, which changes what the colour you are and what the coat of arms is, what I just did. I quite like orange roux, I like the colour of orange roux, so we'll keep that. On the plus side, whilst they're no longer my land directly, they are still my vassal, so I still have that territory. Just not personally mine. Hopefully they'll start dying or something. But I